total of $306,155. The next fund to look at is debt service. This is related to the zoo bond.
And they're requesting 50,000. And I have a question. Is because this is economic development, and we budgeted for money in the economic development over and above the WebMec partnership funding. This could be something that we could look at in the budget. You come in budget year. It's 50,000 is the request, and I'm just saying. So if the court was convinced that this is an important thing to support, then all we need to do is a budget transfer and economic development over to this.
So if it's not WIMDEC related, so those funds are kept separate, and so the other economic development activity, would be including this, I'm assuming, that's in general fund. So yes, you'd have to do a budget amendment if you decided to do that later, and we'd have to move from contingencies or another line within the general fund.
Okay, but so it's not a significant amount that's going to affect our tax rate or anything else. It's just our discretion in doing that. So Commissioner Miller, what I was thinking is that we would have this request discussed and considering if the court chooses to support it, then we would do it in a budget transfer out of the 2021 budget. What's your thoughts on that?
I think that's excuse me. I think that's a great idea. I did get an email from Mr. Vance, the McLennan Community Investment Fund. And if you'll remember, we did that resolution of support last year. And I think that would be an excellent way to approve and possibly approve and process the request for $50,000 for them. It would be to set up a community development financial institution to assist small businesses and growing businesses. And I know that was one of the things that Commissioner Perry had mentioned, is that we don't have a lot of initiatives that support our small businesses. So I think that's an excellent way to bring the conversation forward going into the fiscal year.
Okay. And there's a possibility, and Dustin, you can join in here, but this possibly could be some qualifier for some funding out of the CARES Act. Is that, what do you think? I know you hadn't had a chance to look at it, but.
If the funds went directly to a COVID-related expense to help businesses, then yes, that's possible.
Okay. Okay. So there's, if that's okay, I just want to bring that discussion up during this process.
Currently not budgeted, is that correct?
Sir?
It's not budgeted.
No, sir.
I don't see a line item anywhere in economic development or anything like that.
So we could put a line item with a placeholder if, specific to that, if you wanted to come back to that later and transfer money in, like the judge spoke of, or of course we could go ahead and budget something for that right now.
Right. So, and that's not how we funded some of these other ancillary economic development projects, such as the Major League Fishing and
Well, since we know those now, those have been added in. So that way it just, you don't have to come back and do a budget amendment later. The money's already, it's already spoken for there in the
Right.
budget.
okay. So the best way to accommodate this would be to set up a line item now,
Yes, and I would say if y'all
dollar in.
want to go ahead and move forward with that, to go ahead and budget for it now.
And like I say, I'm not, until all the information comes to court, the court makes a decision. It's just making sure that we're able to act on it if we choose to. So,
Correct.
yeah. Okay, so is that something court would consider, just to have a dollar placeholder in that spot like that?
I support that.
Okay,
I like that idea. I know they're waiting approval on their application to become a CDFI. And so with that placeholder, should they receive that status, then we could have further discussion. So I like the idea of a placeholder.
okay. And so is that, do we need court action on that?
No, we'll add in a placeholder,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
when you adopt the budget, we'll make sure that's included.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions about? So go ahead, Francis.
So one other matter, the McLennan County Fire Protection Association just reached out this past week, and they would like to request to increase the funding for each volunteer fire department to $6,500 a year. So currently we pay them $5,500 a year. So there's 24 volunteer departments, so $24,000 would be that additional cost. So of course, these contracts will come through one of the next couple agendas. So you can decide on that then. But if you did want to increase it, there's the line item we use to fund the Fire Protection Association cost. There's an amount in there of $38,000 that's available if a paid fire department helps with a fire in an unincorporated area, and then they can actually bill us for some of their cost. We haven't used that portion of that budgeted line. I went back, I think 6 years, and we hadn't used it. So we could actually, we could have the funding there if you did want to increase the funding per department.
Okay, and I think Elizabeth's on the line. I just want to make one comment. The reason for this is the fact that the coronavirus situation has eliminated most of their fundraising opportunities, which, we've encouraged that. It's where the local areas around those volunteer fire departments help support their own protection. And then we share in that. So this increase, the way I see it, would be a one-time increase, and that we could look at it either having a separate funding of $1,000 per entity, and even this year if there's money to it for it, and it would be a one-time $1,000 increase. Then we stick with our agreement that we've got now and not have to modify it for the 2021 budget of $5,500.
Okay.
And so I guess, Elizabeth, if you'd like to make a short presentation.
Yes, sir. Good morning. I know kind of Francis covered a lot of the reasoning for behind that. They have not been able to host their fundraisers like they normally do And unfortunately, even with having COVID, fires don't stop. There's still going to be a chance for wildfires, and they're still having to respond. And so that's having an increased financial strain. And so increasing that contract, I think, would be beneficial for all, just to make sure they can continue adequately responding to those calls and making sure that they are prepared and ready to go.
Okay. Dustin, you have any thoughts regarding the contract or the?
No, sir. As y'all discussed, we had it set for the contracts to come back to the court in the next couple of sessions. So it's really the court's preference. Those funds are available this year. We could come in and amend our current contract and include the $1,000 payment to each entity, or we could include that payment in next year's as a one-time payment when we renew the contract. So it's really the court's preference if funds are available now to pay it now or in FY21.
And so
The money, the sooner that's in their hands, I would imagine this is the time of year they normally have their funds. So I think the sooner we get the money in their hands, the better off they are.
So if there's room without affecting anything, do 24,000, one, issue those checks.
yes,
Separate from the overall.
definitely.
And I would definitely support increasing it for this year, at least for this year.
Okay.
And so we can have something on one of the next agendas to approve that. And like I said, that budget line item could absorb that cost this year as well as next year. When I spoke on that, that amount that's budgeted for reimbursing paid departments, of course, that agreement still stands. So if that arose, then we would, need to do a budget amendment in a future year. But I think right now that money's sitting there and we could use that for that other purpose.
Okay.
Well, fundraising is always hard, and this has been an issue since I've gotten here, and I would assume it was an issue before, and I'm completely fine with continuing with a 65. And their expenses are always going up. The bunker gear is always going up. It's always going out of date. There's equipment needs and things like that, and this is a very essential service. I would be, I'd be more inclined to making sure that this 6,500 is every year. So.
Well, that can be something we can talk about for 2021, well, because Dustin, you said just in the next few weeks we'll have that contract coming forward.
Yes, sir. We can. We planned on having them on the September 1st agenda, so we can make that modification and bump it from the 5,500 to 6,500 and include that for next Tuesday.
So how, if we wait till next Tuesday, do we lose the option to pull it out of this year's budget, the $1,000?
No, so it's in there either way. So,
Okay.
and it's, if you want to do the 1,000 this year, next year,
Okay.
it'll be whichever way you want to go, both or either. Those are there.
All right. So be on September 1 budget then. Commissioners Court meeting.
And Judge, you can just confirm with Reagan. I know she had been working on those. If 9/1's okay, or if we need to do it on 9/15.
September 1's fine.
Okay, good.
So are we committing today to give them $1,000 extra for the 21 budget?
I'm sorry. I couldn't understand your first part.
Are we committing today to go ahead and move forward with a $1,000 payment right now?
No, we're going to do that next Tuesday. We can talk about it and what options we want to use to go with your suggestion or split them out or how we want to do it. Okay. What else, Francis?
So then just to kind of summarize and go back to our summary that we always came back to, just going to pull it up. You'll see there that light blue ending fund balance line on line 20 there shows that we'll end with a estimated ending fund balance of right under 40 million, that 39.9 958 million. So that's 33.4% as a percentage of our operating expenditures for the year. And that is with going with the tax rate of 0.468719. So unless there's any other questions, discussion, we can move on to the next steps.
Okay, any questions anyone have? All right. At this time, we're ready for the public hearing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, open up the, for a public hearing for the FY21 budget. All right, the hearing is now closed. Going to D1C, consideration of the vote to adopt the FY21 budget. Anything else, Francis?
No, so, it would be the proposed budget along with those changes that we read through today.
Okay. All right, since I've got the verbiage here, to adopt the FY 2021 budget as presented by the county auditor, inclusive of the changes made this morning.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Under D1D, no need to
You can just pull it with no action.
pull, no action on D1D. On D1E is vote to set and adopt the 2020 tax rate. Any questions before we address that with a motion? Okay, I make a motion, I move that the property tax rate be decreased by the adoption of tax rate of 0.468719. And that would, to break that out, is 0.444892 for maintenance and operations and 0.023827 for interest and sinking. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Passed. All right, under D1F is recording of the FY21 salary orders from the county auditor, assistant county auditors, and district court reporters. Francis?
Yes, sir. So briefly, I'd covered these on the last agenda, but these are the district judge's orders, like you spoke of, for the assistant county auditors, the county auditor, and the district court reporters. Just to give you some brief information, the assistant county auditors, this all includes the 1% COLA, with the exception of one position that was increased based on information provided from HR, that a position was falling below all of the thresholds that they had. County auditor, county auditor's salary, again, with the 1% COLA, and then the court reporters with the 1% COLA.
Okay, any questions on that? Is there a motion to accept this for recording purposes?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry,
Pass. Under E is additional items for discussion and potential action. Under E1 is regarding the November 3rd, 2020 general election, authorizing of early vote workers, election workers, signature verification committee and ballot board, and central count workers. So I'd ask Kathy Van Wolf to make a presentation.
Good morning.
Morning.
We've given and gotten lists from the party chairs and had approval of the early voting election day workers, as well as ballot board and signature verification committee and the central count workers. So we're going to be sending out letters to these people that have been approved, and knowing that some of these people may not be able to work, or something may happen between now and November, but we'll certainly work with the party chairs to make any replacements as needed. So I'd like to have those workers approved.
Okay, any questions for Kathy? If not, is there a motion to approve her request?
Motion to approve.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna go into about a 2 or 3 minute recess so we can switch to executive session, at which time I will go under executive session to 551.072 regarding real property, including but not limited to right-of-way acquisitions, real estate purchases and trades. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I skipped through about that. it is 9:38. And Dustin will be commissioners, and then Dustin Chapman. Sir? No, and we don't need the
This meeting is being recorded.
Good. Okay. It is 9:56. We're back in regular session. Is there anything else to come before the court? If not, we stand adjourned.